guess. So, okay. Is that nice
Ho-
coffee?
Hotel coffee.
Is it
It's not
nice?
the worst that I've had, but it's
You
I
coffee
only
connoisseur.
drink one coffee a day, so it is a special moment for me. So I don't think I'm gonna ruin that with that coffee. But I mean, it's not. Listen, it's not that bad. The
It's
hotel
not
is
bad.
horrible though.
Oh,
Horrible.
really?
Yeah, I actually
You don't
texted
like
Aldo.
it?
I texted Aldo. I'm like, that might be the last day we're seeing each other. It's that
Because you're
bad.
like, this is not a good hotel. I mean, where are you in New York at the moment? Like, where? What area?
So it's called Teaneck, just New Jersey. Um,
Oh.
which apparently is kind of in the middle of nowhere, but the hotel where the venue is and like the show is amazing. It's a Marriott. It's great. But I flew in thinking I could wing it and just get there, book the hotel. Yeah. LOL. LOL. It is busy right now in New York and like all the hotel like at
Around
six
the
mile
area
radius.
booked.
Yes, fully booked, sold out completely. So I found this little hotel which I thought it was going to be fine, and I basically have a trail of um my God, how do you call it? Towels. I have a trails of towels that goes from my
Yeah.
bathroom to my bed,
Yeah.
and to my bed to my bathroom, and that's what I'm stepping on.
Oh my god, you're stepping on them because you won't step on the floor.
Correct. So, um,
I was like, what the fuck is she talking about? A trail of towels? Like, what do you mean? You're like, I will not put my bare feet, my bare skin on the floor. Are you fully clothed when you're going to bed as well?
yeah,
You're like, I don't want
absolutely.
to touch
And
anything.
I did a full inspection, and I'm not sleeping with the actual cover. I'm just having the like little thing on top of
The
me, like the
sheets.
little sheets. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's funny. Oh,
I'm
that's
not.
funny.
I used to. I don't know. I don't know if I used to care at all, or I just never experienced something like that. But anyways, it's fine. And the babe, $300 a night. Yes, absolute madness. I'm like, how the hell inflation
Inflation,
has is
inflation has fucked us
inflation
all.
is upon us. Like, what the hell?
That's a lot.
And
Considering it's obviously not to the standard you also think as well. So you're like, this is a lot of. That's a lot. That's actually really like that's quite expensive as well. I mean, one, it's probably because it's an on the day thing. Like if you probably booked online or like a few days before, there's no doubt it'd probably be a lot less. But
probably.
I reckon because it was the day of,
Probably
and they're
like a
like,
lot.
yeah.
I thought like last minute deals were a real thing, but apparently not.
So that's what. So I thought the same. I feel like like last minute deals are like a holiday thing versus a hotel thing, or like everything's usually done online though. Do you know what I mean? Like the
Mm,
last minute things are like online, like mobile app only. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever seen that before?
no,
Ish? No,
no. Which is
no.
technically it's complete reverse marketing, because last minute deal. It's like if someone needs something last minute, like that's when you actually increase your price, right? Would
Yeah,
make
that's what I
would make
mean.
more sense. Would make
Yeah.
more sense. Okay. Well, no, I thought last minute deals were an actual deal, not a freaking rip
Not
off.
a, yeah. And that's why I think they're like holiday things. Like holiday things is like, oh, all exclusive. Like you get this included if you want like a last minute stay, like a spontaneous thing. Whereas I think like
Oh,
hotels, they just charge, yeah, they just charge a ridiculous amount. That's so expensive. How long have you been there for? Or how long are you staying there for?
so
Three
I got
nights.
in on Friday, right? And then Saturday, yesterday, and then today I'm checking out, which
Oof.
I'm thinking of going into the city because I'm leaving tomorrow. Um,
Oh, that'll be
but
fun.
yeah, I ended up not renting a car. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go to Bev's today. Um, there's one of my friends, you know him, Guy Sesterino.
Yeah.
He's doing a seminar at his gym, and he said just come down. And I think Jen might come too, because I was hanging
Yeah.
out with her when he said that to us. So we might go there today, and then I'm just gonna go stay in the city for one night
Yeah,
with.
that would be nice.
I
Like
know,
a
just a
nice little
little.
like staycation with yourself, like
Right,
going
because
around, find some coffee shop somewhere, like find
a
a
little
fun little like
dumpling.
yeah, like find something like to just explore like by yourself. That's I feel like they're always the most like fun times when you're just by yourself. You're like, I'm just gonna go explore. Let's have a little explore venture.
It's so funny that you say that because I can't remember who I was talking to yesterday about it, but I was like, Phoebe can relate so much. Like we used to, her and I, we would walk everywhere when we were younger. So like for us to acknowledge that there's like space, like places that are dangerous that you can't really like
Yeah,
walk, it's very unknown to us. So we're
yeah,
very like, because I remember I mean, I know you walk everywhere. I know I walk everywhere, but other people were like, "Oh my God, you can't walk in this area. Like it's dangerous." And I was just like so oblivious to like danger. But
yeah.
because
And
uh,
remember when we in 2021 when we walked. How far did we walk to that Brazilian Texas place? And we told Aldo and then Max, and they were both like, "You walked 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back. Like you could have just got a taxi." We were like, "Well, we just wanted to walk," and they're like, "You like that's not like a great area." We're like, "Whoops, we didn't know. We
whoopsie
didn't know.
daisy, yeah.
Whoopsie daisy, we didn't know." But I
The thing
mean,
is,
I don't know. I
we
don't
would have
know.
walked it alone. We would have walked it alone, but we were together. So like we
Yeah, it's
have
not
it
bad.
complete. We have a complete sense of security if we're like even with someone else. We already have that within ourselves, but yeah, I don't know if it's a Canadian thing and an England thing, whatever. Like probably where you come from, I'm guessing. But
Oh yeah, I think so.
um, yeah, if you're listening right now, welcome back to the Say More
Oh yeah,
podcast.
welcome back.
Welcome back to the Say
Welcome
More podcast,
back.
to episode what number 52? 51.
51.
Wow.
51, baby, 51. Yeah, we're just kind of
Happy
catching up and getting up to speed with what we've done this week, really. With
Yeah,
everything.
happy Sunday. How was your
Yeah, I
Sunday?
know.
How was your weekend?
Yeah, weekend was really, really nice. Like I spent a lot of time in the sun this weekend. This was the only weekend I booked that I didn't have a lot of clients. So I purposely try and give myself weekend, so either Saturday or Sunday will be my free day. So this week it was Saturday, and then I've got some clients obviously after today's podcast. But I was free all day today and free all day yesterday. So I was like, okay, let's make the most of it. So haven't actually been out in the Dubai sun for a very long time, and it's starting to get to our summer. So it's very, very hot now. So I was like, right, I need to make the most of it and actually go outside before it gets too hot, because when it gets too hot, places close because it's too hot. No one's going to go out. Like it's just,
Yeah.
there's no point places being open. So I was like, right, let's make the most of it. So it was actually really nice. Spent time with my friends and stuff that I haven't seen for a very long time since being back. So yeah, it was nice to just like relax and stuff this weekend. And then this week has been pretty good. It's been nice. Like I have actually like this week I've gotten, it's so funny. Like the week before, I think we were discussing this before, I'd literally trained like once and I was like, haven't really done much, like, and I don't really feel the need to want to do much. This week's completely different. I've trained every day. I've trained
Wow.
every single day, but they haven't been training sessions, like bodybuilding sessions. They've been classes. So I've been doing like HIIT classes, yoga classes, spin classes, and then I did it's called Ignite 45, where the gym that I'm at, but it's kind of like a CrossFit class. So it's
Oh,
like, I've been doing loads of different things. And then I think it was Friday, then I did a shoulder workout. So it's like, I've done from Monday all the way till even Saturday. I trained Saturday as well. I just didn't train today. I trained 6 days a week and 6 days this week.
wow.
Last week was 1. This week is 6. It's like, there's no in between. But I kind
That's
of was
so
like,
fun though.
I
You
know.
found like
And
this, you found this gym that gives you the classes? Like,
yeah. Well, I used to do that in off season last year anyway, and like I just didn't sign up because I didn't feel the want to kind of want to go back, yeah. And then when I signed up, I was like, it felt like a new kind of, I don't know, it just felt like a new like, I don't know, not chapter, but it was like new. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I'm back
yeah.
again. Let's go back to what I was doing before. And it was like, I don't want to throw myself in and do like loads at once and be like exhausted. But then also I was like, every day I was waking up and I was like, I want to do a class. Like I want to get out. I want to like run, or I want to go do something. So I was like, and I've been getting up in the morning. Like I'm talking like 6 a.m. I'm up at 6
Stop.
a.m. doing classes and then I've done
She
everything.
is
Which, what's
thriving.
happened? It's like a 360 though. It's like, what the fuck? Like last week I was like, I don't want to train, I don't want to move. And now it's a case of like, all I want to do is move. But it's like
Well,
all different
welcome
styles.
to is it luteal phase? Welcome to your phase of your cycle that you're a fucking
Yo, yeah,
superhero.
that phase where you're just like, I can take on the world. And to be
Absolutely.
fair, I've just finished my cycle. I've just finished. So I don't know if it was a case of like last week I was like tired because I was coming on. And then
Yes.
I came on obviously this week and I've been like, right, let's do everything. Which I have no clue why that is, but I mean, it's quite funny. But I kind of, again, like we've said before, like obviously I don't want to, push myself too hard and obviously give myself too much because I know I need rest. But at the same time, it's more of a mental thing of like, when I want to go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym at the same
Yeah.
time. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I want to be there, I'm going to be there. There's not going to be a cap of me, like, I need to go 5 days a week. I need to go this days a week. If I feel like going to the gym today, cool, I'll go to the gym today.
Yeah.
If I don't, I don't. So it was really weird this week and I felt really, really good from it, So mentally I feel happy in that sense that I've been able to kind of like have that mindset because it wasn't there last week. So next week might be different and I'm okay with, feeling whatever it is next week, but it just feels nice to be back again. Do you know what I mean?
Yay.
So
Love
it
to
feels
hear it.
nice.
She is
Yeah.
slaying. She's on her
Yeah.
slay thriving era. We love it.
Yeah.
Here for
It
it.
feels good. It feels good. I think that's like I said before, that was what was missing in terms of like the want to do things, like the want to go train, the want to go do cardio, the want to move and all that type of stuff. Like I don't want to have to
Yes.
force myself and be like, oh, I have to train. Like I don't want that to be the case. I want to feel like I want to train. And I think that's what, like I've spoken to quite a few people and even when people message me about like being burnt out and whatnot, like that's what people feel. They're like, oh, I have to go and train. And I'm like, you should try and like, it sucks because sometimes you won't go to the gym because you might go to the gym for like 3 days in a row because you're like, I don't actually want to. But then
Yeah.
when you want to, it feels so much more like rewarding versus having to go. Does that make sense? Like, especially because if you have no goal, obviously if you're not on prep, all that type of thing, obviously there's no excuse if you're on prep. But if you're not on prep, you have that time to be able to fix those things with yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been really, really nice. It's been nice to kind of like have that back again. So yeah, it's been good.
Yay.
It's been a good week. It feels like an accomplishment this week because I think last week I felt like very bit like unaccomplished, but this week
Okay.
I felt a bit more accomplished with like feeling more myself.
Babe, that's amazing. And like you wrapped all of this up with just being in the sun and relaxing and getting your
Yeah,
battery recharged and doing things for yourself. So, wow, this is
yeah,
amazing. I mean,
yeah. It's been nice.
what an inspiration for the week ahead.
Yeah, it's been
Setting the
nice.
tone right for the week
Yeah,
ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna try to
it's been
catch on
good.
some sleep, I think, for a little bit. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you
go
said
back
you were
to
like, I
tomorrow.
didn't even go to bed till like 4 a.m. I mean, that's definitely like we said before, the show day. I don't even know what it is, the show day adrenaline?
I think I drove, yeah.
Like the show day
Excuse me.
She's like, oh,
Wow.
I'm tired. Like the show day
Wow.
adrenaline, I definitely like. I mean, how was your week? Obviously, you've had the Pittsburgh Pro, the New York Pro, and then obviously all this week with is it your summer guys that's come out and stuff as well? So like you've had a week. So I mean, how has obviously your week been getting on and stuff?
It's been good, just a lot of like organization and execution and overall very great. The announcement of Vivagen was made and I was so happy about it. And yeah, the summer challenge is up and then the show, like just a back-to-back, trip, realizing that I
Everything.
didn't, my suitcase wasn't like really like unloaded and then whatever. But no, all in all, Phoebe's like really good. These were two shows that I was planning to go to anyway.
Yeah.
Very happy that I was there. But like I was telling you off camera, I've been going to both shows, like Pittsburgh, both days that the show happened. And then again yesterday, couldn't sleep for the sake of me. Like
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, both nights at like 2:30 a.m., like 3, and then yesterday 4:30, couldn't sleep, and then woke up at 8:30. Just like after a post show. Like that's exactly how I
Yeah.
sleep post show. So I really think it's just adrenaline of a show that just gets to me, but I'm obviously not competing at all, so whatever.
Yeah, you're like, why is this happening? Like, what's
I
going
have no
on?
idea. And I'm like, I'm tired during the day, you know what I'm saying? Like I could totally
Yeah.
sleep, but very, very odd. Very odd.
Yeah,
Very
I think it's like the excitement of like you said before, the excitement of like the whole event as a whole. Because like you do so much in those, like, you know, in those days. You're seeing people, meeting people, you know, like you're not working, but obviously you're, you know, handing out trophies, you know, talking to people and stuff. And then you're on that kind of like excitement. And then when you get back, you're like, what do I do now with all this excitement? It's not been like fully burnt out yet. So it's
yeah.
like you're just wired. You're just
Yeah.
wired. So,
Yes.
but it's nice. I mean, how did you feel? Now both of them are done. Obviously, your original plan, like you said before, was you were wanting to compete in the Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro. And how did you feel, obviously, being a spectator for both of these shows versus actually doing the shows? Do you feel like, obviously there's no regret in any decisions that you make and stuff, but do you feel like you, I say, made the right decision with not doing them? Or does that make sense? Like, do
Yeah,
you feel like
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think it's easier for me because I didn't make the decision, but I made it, you know, with Kim. Like the decision was like very, it was brought to me by him and it made sense with him. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah,
So
I remember.
it was already out of my head. And once I made a decision, like I really don't go back. It's one of those
Yeah.
things with being an Aquarius, but also being me, whatever. When I make a decision, it's just very, I grieve that decision like right away. Like it's, I'm not gonna be sitting here like, oh my god, I wish I was on stage. Like I'm like, no, I'm here, but I know I'm working. I'm working on
Yeah.
the Olympia. You know what I'm saying? Like my mindset has switched since we spoke with Kim. You know, after the Arnold, it was switched, and then we had to switch it again when that plan came on. So I've been on that same mindset since, and it doesn't change me. It doesn't bother me, and I'm so glad I'm a spectator. Like, and they treat us so well. You know, we get there, and all the athletes were just staying front row, and we're able to like really chit chat and enjoy our time there. It was, I mean, it was a really good time. I really enjoyed my
Yeah.
time. Yeah, as a
That's good.
spectator, I really enjoyed my time as a spectator. I really enjoyed my time as like I was like a second. I mean, like Kim's eyes this weekend because he couldn't be here, so I
Yeah.
was kind of helping him out a little bit. And
That's fun.
you know, you would think like when you tap into like the mom side of stage or like the spectator side of stage, like you would want to stay there and just kind of be fulfilled with that, which is because it's very fulfilling. Like, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
like being a spectator and being part of the sport in a different way, like as a coach or whatever you're doing, it's very rewarding still and it's very fulfilling. But I still like it's, I still know very clear in my mind, like about the Olympia, the competition, like everything is just very clear. So, yeah, congratulations to everyone who competed again this weekend. I mean,
Yeah.
amazing. Congratulations to Amy that did a 2-2 back to back, you know,
Yeah. It's
pretty impressive.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
it's so
impressive.
impressive. She
Yeah.
looked great as well. Like, I think everyone, like you said, everyone looked great. Like, again, it's each show that's coming up. I feel like everyone is stepping up even more. Like, they're taking that feedback completely literally and like making those changes immediately, which I think is great. Like, they're not wasting any time. They're just going straight into the next show. Right, let's see what I need to work on. Straight into the next show. What do we need to work on? Like, it's
Yep.
so good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
It's very good for the sport. It showcased like how much of athletes we are, and I think it's overall amazing for the sports, you know. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
and
100%.
yeah, very emotional night, you know, with you know Nick Walker and Martin. Like it was very close. Like I mean, these guys were like looking amazing, but I'm very happy for Nick, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, overall like very emotional again. Like Pittsburgh was emotional too, and New York was emotional too for a different reason.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think they were both very, very good shows. And yeah, I love the fact that you kind of said and obviously mentioned that like when you make that decision, if you make a decision like to start off with, like this is the original plan, changing the original plan, like you said, you grieve those thoughts straight away and you're like, okay, cool, like I'm okay with them and I can go and be happy with that thoughts without any second thought to it. I mean, obviously I know this is a bit of a deep question. It's a bit early for you or whatnot, but how would you say you get over? Because I know a lot of people that have kind of, either said to me recently, or any decisions they make to potentially not compete for the rest of the year or continue after. Like, what is it that you do to cope with those kind of post-show thoughts of like, with the decision that you made, like being actually fully happy with that decision? Because sometimes obviously the decision, not saying it wasn't yours, because like you said before, it was brought to you by Kim, right? So obviously,
Yeah.
if Kim hadn't said anything, would you have continued to do the shows? Like, do you know what I mean? So, but what do you do kind of after you've made that decision of like, okay, cool, we're not competing now, and then going on with the rest of your kind of year? Because I know a lot of people kind of have either FOMO or they feel like they might have regretted their decision or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So how, I guess, would you say you cope with that, I guess?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you
it's
know
a
what I mean?
very, yes, yes, I understand what you're saying because, and it's interesting because I would say that the sport of bodybuilding is most probably the place where I have the most security. And what I mean by that is security as far as like what the decisions are made. Like it's very
Yeah.
black and white for me. All the rest of my life is extremely gray zone. I live in the gray zone. I love this freaking nuance area bullshit. And like I thrive into not knowing the impulsive, the whatever, go with the flow
Yeah.
shit. Like I thrive over there. Bodybuilding is my only thing that is very black and white. So I think that's what helps me make my decision. And I have a lot of clarity, and sometimes it really is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to go so deep about it. Kim, yes, Laura, like he acknowledged what I wanted to do was Pittsburgh and New York. He's like, here's are the facts. You won 3 times the Arnold. You need to rest. We want to bring the pub. And then he, enumerates certain facts. It made sense to me. And then I was able to make a decision. And I was just like, okay, then let's do it. And then I worked on switching my mindset, kind of plan my year differently. And,
And then
you
you
know,
go.
and then that's it. That's just really it. There's,
I think that's good.
and I am able to stick with it and I'm able to, really embrace it. I think the moment that you're still insecure about a decision, which I'm very indecisive. I'm a very indecisive person. It can come down to insecurities at some point, either it's financially, morale, like things that you can't really control. But to me, it's very bodybuilding is very controllable in my opinion. Not the
It is.
results. Not the result, but that's why like I'm able to enjoy being on stage because the results are just not in my hands. And I
Yeah.
really understand that. It's again very black and white. You don't control anything on the day
On
of
stage.
on stage, like more specifically on stage because you control your makeup, your tanning, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but you control your journey, like everything in before that, you control it 1000%. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I think that's what it comes down to. I hope that
Yeah.
answers your question, but
No, 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 100%. Because I think,
yeah,
and I think that that's why I wanted to kind of ask that question, just in general, because I think a lot of people do go through that. I know I've had a few posing clients this week that have also said the same, where they, might have pushed back shows to a later date, or have seen people that have pushed back to a later date, and they're not sad about the decision, but obviously, this happens. And I think sometimes they think, I wish I could have done this, or I'm sad that I'm not doing this now, and kind of really holding on to that almost as a failure, like, oh, I couldn't do those shows, or I shouldn't have done it. Do you know what I mean?
I
So
yes, yes,
I
that's
think I love what you said with that, is
hmm
saying like, it is just what it is. Like in terms of the facts, you needed to rest. You needed to have your focuses on elsewhere, not these two shows, and that's completely okay. Regardless if you did them or not, like those are the facts. So you have to make a decision and see what's it's not what's more important, but obviously at the moment, like what takes priority in a way.
and be very, I mean, be so about it, like
Yeah,
this is right, what's right for me. But a lot of people like have never like really figured it out, and sometimes you're in bodybuilding, you don't really know the extent of it. There's a lot of different stigma to it. There's different, a story that people are making to themselves, like, oh, but I need to still compete, otherwise I won't be relevant. Oh, if I've done that show, I've failed. Like, no, if you do the not the right thing for you, you failed. So as long as you do the right thing for yourself, and don't find excuses, right? Excuses and facts are completely different. And don't
Yeah.
use facts to like fill up your excuses. That's two different things. But enumerate the facts, make it make sense to you, and then that's it. You don't need anybody else to understand why. If you understand yourself why, you're going to be able to embrace that decision forever. And I think that's really important for any decision in your life. You never want to be in a place where you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Whether it's, you're not sure about the competition, you're not sure if you're going to be like 1 foot in, 1 foot out is just you're 50-50, and then
Your
50%
prep
effort.
will be,
And
yeah,
yeah,
your
if
prep will be
50%
fifty
effort,
fifty,
exactly. You're in a
100%.
prep at 50%, like, girl, it's not great. It's not going to bring you backstage feeling like a winner. And that for me is a no. So yeah, I mean, you said no to show before. Now I've said,
Yeah.
not doing show, and I've announced it, and it was, difficult for my ego for like half a second, but
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I don't, because at the end of the day, like, if I had kept that to myself and I didn't, say, hey, I'm not actually doing it to the person, that were involved into me saying like I was doing it, if I was just gonna go hide and not tell them, I would have told myself like, oh my God, they're gonna be so disappointed. They're gonna hate me, like whatever, like dramatic things I'm telling myself. But when I tell them, they're very supportive of the decision. So I'm letting people being very supportive about this decision, and it puts me in the best area possible, you know? And again, if you have no support from around you, then you just let them expose themselves, and then you can choose if you want them around your circle or not. They should
Yeah.
support whatever makes you happy and whatever best decision is for you, and run with it 100,000% without asking you any justification, but just the facts. You can lay the facts
Yeah.
down on them, just the same way that you made your decision process, and run with it. So yeah, that's what I recommend to people that are going through those things.
I think that's good. I love that. I love that wholeheartedly, because I think it is tough. Like you said, your ego can get hurt, but that's honestly generally the only thing that in this whole decision, if you whether you decide to push back a show or when you decide to compete, like little things like this, it's only your ego for like half a second that will get actually like her, and then you realize, okay, cool, the world hasn't ended. Like, I'm still
Yeah.
breathing, I'm still living, the world's still going round, and I can move
Yes.
on with my progress and plan. But I do think that fear of maybe actually like telling people, oh, I'm not doing this show anymore, or I'm like, pushing doing a different show, or not even that, just telling yourself that you're doing a different show makes you feel some sort of way, because like I said before, you feel unaccomplished, or you feel like you haven't stuck to the original plan, so you failed. Whereas ultimately the original plan is there to keep you where you need to be, and then if it changes, it changes, but it doesn't mean you've failed, So no, I love that. I think that's good. And I mean, even flipping that on the other end, instead of obviously, making what is it that we just said, like
Like a way.
pushing your show forwards, or not doing a show, instead
Yes.
deciding when to do a show. Like,
Yes.
what would you say, I guess, in that sense, like how would you kind of deal with when you're actually ready for deciding to go and do a show? Because I think that's always sometimes a hard thing for people to focus on, or when they're ready, because I think a lot of people, it's down to when they're ready, obviously physically, but also like, I've spoken to a lot of people again this week, they're like, I don't feel ready. And I'm like, what other actual facts though? Like, is your body not ready? Is your mind not ready? Is your coach telling you you're not ready? Like, what other things that stick out to say that you're not ready? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think then you have to analyze it and kind of go from there. But I mean, what would you say to people that feel like they're not ready to step on stage?
I mean, I love what you just said, because a feeling is very, I'm going to say the word untangible, but that's really not the word that I'm trying to look for. But it's very flimsy. It's not very real. I'm not saying that you're,
Accurate.
yes, it's not necessarily accurate. Okay, that's the word
Yeah.
I was looking for. It's not necessarily accurate, right? So, like, yes, your feeling of not being ready could be in the moment, it could be an actual fact. Okay. With that being said, I think there's, there should be a definite, there should be a show date that you're aiming for yourself to just be like, I am going through a extreme deficit for that amount of time, and not, and assess your body at that point, because being in an extreme deficit past 12 weeks, or like, I'm not sure, like, don't quote me on that, like a doctor could actually say, but when it start, having reversed effect on your body, on your health, on your mental health, on your relationship, on all of these things in your life that you hold dear to your heart, like whether it's your, obviously your health, I hope you hold that dear to your heart, right? So like,
Yeah.
if you go and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna start prep and see, like, whenever I'm ready, and then you're like 25 weeks, 26, and you're ready, but you don't feel ready when you look at yourself, because you missed out on having a deadline where you're like, I am giving myself this amount of time to be extreme. If I feel like I'm not ready, then maybe I'm taking one more year off. And then you switch again your mindset, you switch your plan, and you get on another plan to start whatever you want to be on. If you need more time, while on that date, you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to need 4 more weeks. And you give yourself another 4 more weeks. But then after, if 4 more weeks you're not ready, you're you're like, okay, and my body doesn't respond right now. Let's go on a health phase, on a reverse phase, or whatever you want to go on, to maybe start prep in the future, and just letting your body be, as far as being an amateur, obviously, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
Being a
think it's hard.
professional. No, I mean,
It's hard.
of course it's hard, but I think you shouldn't go blindly into a prep. You should go very strategically into a prep, because it's an extreme, and you're not going into a prep to lifestyle.
No.
Like no.
No.
People are, oh my God, competing is a lifestyle. Please. No. Like,
No, it's different. I think everyone has their own views on how they prep, and I love how you brought that up in terms of like having that structure and saying like, oh, give yourself a date, especially for
yeah.
like you said, amateurs and newbies, because like I do think it's good to just have something to work towards versus just blindly kind of just dieting and just seeing how it goes. Obviously, there's different ways of doing things. So if you are doing that, it's not like it's a bad thing, but that's just how I see it anyway. Giving myself a goal or a date to work towards. If I'm not ready for that date, if my body's still not like it's being slow or whatever, okay, cool. Let's backdate that, like you said. But I think like you said, it's good to have a good plan in place
Yes.
instead of being kind of like, because it's so easy on prep to say I'm not ready. Like I remember being 2 weeks out from the Arnold's this year and being like, I don't feel ready, and I'm like, girl, you were inside out. Like you were ready, like your mind plays tricks on you a lot. So it's very much easy for you to say, I don't feel ready, I'm not ready. Like you said, you don't feel ready, I'm not ready. If the facts are there that you are ready, then it's the feeling of things that you aren't, like you might not mentally be ready for it because it's new to you, or you're nervous. So you might be like internally being like, I don't feel ready to step on stage, so I don't want to step on stage yet. But sometimes you just need a little push, and you just have to do it, and then you're like, okay, cool, I was all right, I was okay. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the good thing is if you have a coach that knows what they're doing and they're happy like with how you look and all that type of thing, and they're telling you all these right things, then that you have to kind of put that trust into them and say, okay, cool, I trust you, let's do this. If you physically do not feel ready and you're like, no, like I really, really, really don't feel comfortable, then fair enough, do not do it. Like, don't go on stage like really uncomfortable, be like, I hate this, I don't want to do this. Like, obviously we never want you to step on stage like that. You want to feel somewhat ready, but I do feel like those feelings of not feeling ready, they come like closer and closer to the show. I don't know if you feel like that sometimes. I feel sometimes like when I get closer to the show, start to feel like less ready because I'm like, shit, it's coming up really close. I don't feel ready yet. Like, but you
Yeah.
are, it's just your brain just getting a little bit nervous for actually doing what you've been working so hard for. And sometimes I think we blink and we're like, okay, cool, we're a week out now. What the hell? Where's that time gone? So, but I've said this a lot before, is like, I try and make sure that I can sit down with my thoughts like a week out or however many days out and just be like, right, what am I proud of this prep? What am I actually happy about, how I've done this prep, and really putting a lot of positives on the prep itself before I step on stage, so then I can actually be happy with the actual whole physique mindset I actually took up there on stage. And then you can get the critiques after, because it is very easy to be like, I don't feel ready, I don't feel ready, I don't feel ready throughout the whole time, go on stage not feeling ready, and then post show getting your feedback, which there's always going to be something to work on, you know, like the judges very rarely obviously say you're perfect, don't change. Like there are some times where that happens, you know, like a lot of the times when you get into the pro league where it gets like this close, where you're like small changes, but most of the time there's always something to work on. So I think if you don't feel ready already when you step on stage and then they tell you to work on things, it can mess with your head and be like, see, I was never ready, like I shouldn't have stepped on stage and blah blah blah. So I think giving yourself that self-assessment beforehand, before you even step on stage with yourself, doesn't need to be with your coach, but just yourself, and being like, what am I actually happy with this prep, you know?
I love that.
Can
Yeah.
help a lot. I think I did that a lot this year.
Yeah, it's a very mature way to doing things. I
Yeah.
think self-assessing and everything. Yeah, I think I love that actually. I don't think I've ever done that because I put a lot of obviously trust in Kim,
Oh
and
yeah.
it helps me with just putting my brain at ease on a lot of things.
I
And
think that's good though.
yeah, no, of course, I mean, super grateful for him. You know what I'm saying, and I've
Yeah.
always said that. But I still think that it's a good thing to do. Like everything,
Yeah.
like every self work, every self reflection, it's all good, and it's always helpful. It could be very self destructing, but I think it's very helpful to just create a new
Yeah.
narrative into your head that is more positive, that it's more for you, and more supporting you. Like you need to support yourself,
Because,
girl.
well,
You need to
that's the
support
reason.
yourself.
Yeah, that's the reason I do it, is because I think people, I mean, just in general, like not just me, but people in general are very hard on themselves about like, whether it be bodybuilding or anything, they can be so very hard on themselves. So that self-assessment isn't a case of like, right, what do I need to work on? It's a case of only positive thoughts. Like I literally, the amount of times where I've been like, well, I should be working on this, and I'm like, and I like stop myself. I'm like, no. Like this isn't like critiquing yourself and seeing what you need to work on. This is, what am I actually happy with, and what have been the positives out of this prep. Like everything, like name all the small details, like everything you felt that was really, really good with this prep. Not like any negatives or anything you could work on, because that's going to happen after the show, you know?
Yeah,
But that's just the way I am. That's just my mind, the mind I
I
have,
love
where
it
I'm just
though.
like, I need to reassure myself sometimes, which I don't know if that's just a thing that I need to work on, but I think sometimes it's just reassurance more than anything, because I think it's easy on prep mentally to not feel your best. It's so easy to just continuously feel like there's something to work on, and there always is, like I said, but making sure that you're actually fully happy with on stage, I personally feel like helps me perform better on stage as well, knowing that I've done everything, I'm happy with what I've done, and then I'll get the critiques after, you know?
I love that. I love that a lot. Yes,
So yeah.
that's a good way to. That's a good way to practice the sport of bodybuilding, or like do the
Yeah.
sport of bodybuilding. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
love that.
decisions and deciding, like going back to obviously the original question that we were talking about anyway, was like the decisions for shows and stuff. I mean, is there anything else you would kind of add to that with like deciding to do a prep or deciding to do shows? Like what would you, just any advice you would kind of give towards that at all? I mean, we pretty dived pretty deeply into that, to be fair.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No,
was there
I
anything
think,
else?
no, babe. I think that completes my answer, and you completed, even better. I love how we bounce off from that discussion actually, and it's just very helpful and very self-reflecting. But yeah, I'm very secure with my decisions,
Yeah, you should be.
lately, and yeah, no, it feels good, and it makes you enjoy and being in the present moment too. Because when you're, imagine me being yesterday and just wondering in my head, like, oh, I have FOMO. I should have been on stage. Like, I would have been able to enjoy really the present moment, but I did because I was like completely detached from that idea. So,
Yeah.
no, I enjoyed it differently, and it was really good. So today, I'm looking forward to get out of this hotel.
Yeah. Get out of the hotel, go and see adventure, maybe have a nap in between. Have a little nap in between. But it's
Yeah.
nice to hear that you're, like I said before, you're fully secure with your decision. You know, like, I think that's that's generally because I think people just want to, like, know how to be okay with that decision, but I think you just have to wholeheartedly be secure with that decision. There's, like you said, no 50%, no in or out, no like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Being completely secure and saying, yep, I'm fully I'm happy with this decision. Not going back on it is the best way you're going to feel the happiness and enjoyment from it.
Yeah.
So
1000%. One thousand
yeah.
percent. Yeah.
Oh, that was a lovely little episode. That
Yes,
was
I love it.
nice. It
I
was lovely.
know. I
So,
know.
yeah, it was lovely. So, guys, if you have any other questions about obviously anything that we've kind of discussed, I mean, do you have anything that you would want to, any tips that you would have on your decision making process? Comment down below. If there's anything you'd want us to chat about next, comment down below as well.
That's right.
And all those fun things, like, comment, subscribe. Obviously, we have our Patreon as well, so head over to Patreon if you want some more, podcast episodes and all that type of thing.
That was it. Excellent outro. Killed
Thank
it.
you.
Love it.
Right, we love you guys so much, and we'll see you soon.
Love you guys. Love you, Phoebes.